Good evening and welcome to our live stream for July 2022. My name is Matt Curry and I'm here with two of my partners here at KOURO Property Group. Rodney, why don't you say hello to the people?
Thanks for that, Matt. Hi guys, back home. I'm Rodney Naidu, Project Manager here at KOURO, and my colleague here, Shane, will take a moment to introduce himself as well.
Hey guys, it's Shane here from KOURO Property Group, the other co-founder. Super looking forward to tonight. It's going to be a great one and we can't wait for everyone to come on board and ask some crazy questions that we have to debate on for a couple of minutes. But we're looking forward to tonight's live stream and we hope that everyone finds some relevant information tonight.
Awesome stuff. Thanks for that, guys. So happy to be here with the both of you and really keen to talk about equity investment this evening, which is all about our main theme for tonight. So really excited to chat about that. We'll obviously be able to take some of your guys' questions, and it is an interactive discussion, so whatever questions you have or suggestions or comments, please feel free to leave them on the comment section of whichever social platform you're logged in from. And it's going to be a really exciting evening. So I think without further ado, I think we're going to get started and chat about equity investment and what equity investment is all about. Now, obviously, for a lot of our viewers, you might not be certain as to why, as an investor, you should invest in a property company such as KOURO. Now, before we even get on to the actual nitty-gritty of equity investment, why, Shane, why would an investor invest in a property company? Like, what are the benefits to that, and why would they look at making that decision?
Yeah, good question, Matt. Good question. Yeah, so I think one thing to start off with, as you said, is why should you invest with a property company, right, such as KOURO? Now, one of the big things that we are seeing now recently is that the world is going through high inflation periods. So we see a rapid increase in bond costs, credit costs. America is struggling as well. They're going through the largest interest rate increases and inflation rate increases since the 1980s, and it's crazy to see. So, why property? Why do we all retreat back to property during this time? And that's purely because property is a very, very stable asset that at the end of the day, the high stocks with high returns, high yields during the boom season, everyone sort of retreats back to a stable asset that they know, and that is generally property. So, quite often property through and through is generally the best investment that you can be involved in, with a little bit of high risk elsewhere, but otherwise a large portion of portfolios retreat back to the property areas.
Yeah, 100%, Shane. I like how you touched on the history of property and how it's stood the test of time. I think just elaborating on that a bit further, Rodney. Shane's obviously chatted about how it is such a great asset class. But what other aspects of property companies could be beneficial to investors?
As Shane mentioned early on about the high inflation rates, definitely, without a doubt, the real estate industry is a solid asset class that has stood the test of time and is likely to be part of our economies for foreseeable future, providing certainty to investors. And as such, it provides such that with the inflation rate rising, you also find that the value of your properties rise as well. So it's a one-to-one almost. Another thing you'll notice is that with property specifically is that it's often a leveraging tool which allows companies to use their debt to grow their portfolios, meaning that you can often grow the size of your property portfolio without having the necessary cash on hand. You can take out those loans and leverage the bank for that money and grow that portfolio without having to have that same amount of cash on hand to purchase the property.
Yeah, 100%, Rodney. Very good point regarding leverage. I mean, it's only really property that you can use to leverage. You can't go out and leverage a stock on the stock exchange or, cryptocurrency or anything like that. Property is a solid, tangible asset that, financial institutions can underpin and loan against. So, yeah, I really, really like that point that you raised. That's really, really informative, and I think that'll help a lot of our viewers understand what the benefits of property are, and how a property investment company can hedge their risk against high interest rates and high inflation, like Shane mentioned earlier. I think now most of our viewers will have a good idea of the benefits of investing in a property company. But I think a lot of the viewers might be a bit unsure about what equity investment is. What does it mean to invest, be an equity investor, Shane? What does that actually mean?
Yeah. So really, I think a lot of people assume that small companies or large companies are particularly difficult to actually get involved in. And yes, you won't be necessarily making any day-to-day decisions. However, if you believe within a certain company and you feel that it's necessary to invest in a property company itself, there's many ways to actually get involved. And one of those particular ways is actually purchasing shares or share options of a particular company. This allows you to essentially become a co-owner or part owner of that particular company without having to deal with the day-to-day. So simply believing in the company itself and that what their vision and dream is for the future, you're able to invest in that and also grow from their achievements.
100%, Shane. I think that gives a good basic understanding of how that works. So essentially, if I'm a shareholder in a company and I own shares in that company, it means that I can then benefit because I'm essentially a part owner of that company. Whether it's a tiny slice of the pie or a big chunk of it, I'm still an owner nonetheless, and I can still benefit from the wealth that ownership brings. What sort of benefits do you realize as a part owner, Rodney, in any company, not just a property company?
Yeah. So, Matt, I think in terms of the monetary side of things, we're looking at two key areas, being the capital gains, which is essentially the value of your share increasing as the value of the company increases, as well as capital dividends, which are paid out on an annual basis. That's usually derived from the profits made in the company itself. And then on the other hand, we also look at the non-monetary side of things, which is the growth of the company. And if you as an investor invest in a specific company that you believe in, you gain from that legacy that the company builds. As the company grows and becomes a pioneer in its division, you also gain from that in that you are part of that story.
Yeah, well put.
Okay, yeah, no, brilliant, Rodney. I think touching on the legacy aspect was very important there, because it's not just about the short term gains. It's about being part of a project for the long term. And I think the earlier that you get in and the earlier you become a part of a company story, the more you stand to benefit in the long term. and it also forms your own story as an investor. So it's not only just about profits and dividends and capital gains, but it's also that sentimental value that you get as a shareholder when you join in on a company's journey, especially in the initial few years of starting up. So yeah, very, very good point. I echo that. Now, a company like KOURO, obviously we can offer investors an opportunity to invest in the company. KOURO is obviously still a fairly new company. It's new to the property space and industry, and I think for a lot of investors, they will be getting involved in that early stage that I touched on a little bit earlier. Shane, if I'm an investor right now and I'm looking at KOURO Property Group and I think to myself, this is quite an exciting company. I like the projects that they're doing. I like the fact that they're involved in a specific niche of flipping properties. Why should I take the risk on a company like KOURO? I mean, what would be perhaps the defining factor that would make an investor decide to invest versus not investing?
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, KOURO has been around for quite some time now. We've been through the thick and thin of things. I mean, we've had some really bad times. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because we've learned so much through that and we've improved so much. And look, we're still here today. We're growing from strength to strength every single day. And with every weakness, only makes us stronger. So we're really, really excited to have more and more people on board. And that's why, we went this direction, is to offer that opportunity to people out there that actually want to get involved. I mean, we heard the people said, listen, how do I invest more? I don't necessarily want to just invest in one project. I want to get more involved. I want to have a piece of the pie. Let me have it. And so we decided that, for a cup of coffee, why not? Why can we not get as many possible people throughout the country to start investing in something that people love to watch all over TV, and that's seeing people flip properties. So we follow our strengths, you follow your strengths. So we'll take your capital to the next level while, you continue to focus on your day-to-day, but know that, the money goes into a great cause to grow this company and, to grow your capital at the same time.
Okay, but fair point, Shane, fair point. I hear what you're saying. It's about that overall benefit across the board. You're not just investing in one project, but you essentially, investing in the entire group, and you benefit from, all of the profits they make across the projects. I mean, that's all good and well, but isn't investing expensive, Rodney? Isn't it only that your high net worth individuals can invest in shares? I mean, isn't that for rich people only?
I wouldn't say so, Matt. When you're investing in a company at its early stages, you're often investing at a lower rate. And you tend to, from that lower rate of investment, reap higher rewards. So investing in stocks, for example, generally, if you're on the stock markets on very known companies, you're looking at higher amounts for those shares. But if you're investing in a smaller relatively startup company, you're looking to invest smaller portions, but reap higher rewards at the end of the day in the long term.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. That is a good point, Rodney. I think, if you're going to go out and buy some shares that are relatively expensive, if you're going to go out and buy Apple shares or Amazon shares or, one of the major leading companies of the world, you are going to pay a premium price for that. But like you say, it's all on a spectrum. So even though there are expensive shares out there that perhaps your average everyday person can't access, there are other companies that have high growth prospects and the ability to possibly grow into a larger company one day. And I think I think you as an investor, if you can spot that and you can essentially see, through what a company's done in its early stages, that it has the potential to go out and do more and grow, then definitely as an investor, you can definitely realize that growth and that eventual valuation increase that comes with that. So yeah, very, very good point, Rodney. I didn't even think of that myself. So yeah, very, 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 very well brought up. Shane, what would you say KOURO does that perhaps separates itself from the other, property companies out there, or, newly formed property companies? Do we have any sort of unique selling proposition that perhaps separates us from the rest?
Yeah. So yeah, KOURO itself, obviously, one thing is that we're new to the market in many ways. Some of these other property companies have been around for 100 plus years. So when you deal with that, you're dealing with the same old stuff, the same old methods that they use. Where we typically actually look to move forward and be forward thinking as well, and we run our ways in a very digital manner. I mean, we don't even deal with paper day to day. Everything is digital. We pretty much lease the units that we own virtually. We're able to put it out there on the market. We're doing virtual tours on all of our properties, so investors as well have the ability to foresee the potential growth of that property based on how it looked in the past and then how it will potentially look in the future. We can have an amazing track record that anyone can have a look at. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's about being able to innovate and pivot whenever you need. And I think that's one of KOURO's biggest strengths, is that we understand our strengths and we always work towards those.
Yeah, brilliantly summarized there, Shane. Thank you for that. Yeah, we've obviously got our niche, and we're not looking to flip 1 or 2 houses a year, but we're looking to flip 100 or 200 houses a year if we can. And I think that's the growth that we see and the opportunity that we see in the space, is that there is no formal player in the property flipping game which is doing the house flips in South Africa to a large scale. And I think that's the level that we want to be at. And like you say, we're doing things differently. We're forward thinking. We're a new age company, and we're trying to innovate and bring ourselves to the end goal as quickly and effectively as possible. Now, obviously we need backing and capital in order to do that. As does any business. And I think that's part of the appeal that we're making to investors out there, is to say that based on what we have done to date, we have the potential and we have the ability to continue to what we have been doing, but to a much larger and greater degree. And that's really the whole idea behind the capital raise, is to really excel ourselves onto the next level and really take our business to a national scale, where we can have the ability to flip 100 or 200 houses a year, which we believe to be very possible. So yeah, very, very, very exciting. But yeah, good points that you've both made. Now, a lot of people watching this might say, okay, well, listen, I might be willing to invest a little bit of money, or I might want to go gung ho and buy a lot of shares. But some of our investors might have questions as to how we're going to go about that, and how we're going to get involved in a much larger scale. What do we actually use the money for? Shane, do you have any ideas of how KOURO would actually go about purposing the capital that we raise, and how we'll use that to help us scale our business?
Yeah, 100%. Sorry, I'm getting feedback for some reason.
No problem, Shane. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I got what you said. So I think, one of the important things where KOURO will focus the attention and the equity that does come through to KOURO is a lot of it's going to be in use to produce more profits, right? So just in a simple way, the way you actually develop more profits is by marketing further. So one needs to develop a larger sales team, because for every property that we will flip, potentially we assume on average we'll make about 200,000 Rand profit. So what we need to do is the ability to increase that is vital. So if we're able to go from 5 flips or 10 flips a year to, like you say, Matt, 100, 200 flips plus a year, we need to grow our team, our base. So we need to expand. And I see that Hakim has asked, will KOURO be doing some flips in Cape Town? And that's exactly, where we'd look to go, is ability to grow into the various different fields, such as Cape Town, Durban, Pretoria, and we grow and expand. And, we're able to show everyone in the rest of the world what we can do. So it's about developing those sales teams, marketing a lot stronger, developing the construction team, etc., etc. Anything that you wanted to add there, Matt?
Yeah, I think you got that spot on. Rodney, are you keen to manage some of our flip projects in Cape Town when we go there?
Yeah, no, definitely, and I think it goes without saying, with the more equity investment, that also allows us to broaden our personnel and ensure that we have personnel throughout the country to manage these projects. Yes, we might be here in Johannesburg also managing projects in Cape Town, but it'd be nice to have people on the ground there as well.
Yeah, 100%. And like Shane said, that's where the personnel aspect comes in, and that's where we will be deploying a lot of the capital that we raise to that part of the business, so that we can get feet on the ground and get things moving in Cape Town. So yeah, Hakim, if investors such as yourself are keen to help KOURO get to Cape Town and to start flipping houses there, then perhaps the equity investment option is for you. So yeah, hopefully yourself and many others can help us get there, and we can light up the distressed Cape Town property market. Looking forward to that. So maybe that begs the question is, people might be saying, yes, I want to invest, give me more information. Rodney, how many shares are actually available to be purchased for external investors at this point in time?
So currently there's 455,561 shares, and those are available shares, and they each go for 20 Rand and 27 cents per share. So as you can tell, less than a cup of coffee.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if you guys have bought coffee recently in a restaurant, but every time I go and get a cup of coffee somewhere, it seems to be going up a couple of rands each time. So it's if you can find a good, decent cup of coffee for $20 these days, you're actually doing very well. I'm struggling at the moment to get even anything decent for 30 Rand. So yeah, I definitely think we're in the affordable space there. Shane, can investors, is there a limit or a cap on the amount of shares that they can buy, or how does that work? I mean, are there any restrictions?
Yeah, so the cap that we have is 455,000. No. So there's no real cap for each individual or company itself buying shares, or a trust. I think that's one important thing to know, is that it doesn't have to be bought in your personal name. It can be bought in any of your investment vehicles that you choose, and there's no cap on what you can and cannot buy. It's really, the opportunity is up for you, and take it and seize it.
100%. Okay, so if I do some quick math, and maths is not my strong point, but if you're buying shares at about 20 Rand or just over 20 Rand, and there's 455,000 odd shares available, that's about a 9.2 million Rand capital raise. Am I right, Shane?
Correct. Spot on.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So, I mean, Rodney, in your professional opinion, do you think that the company raising just over 9 million rand in a capital raise, do you think that would be sufficient for us to take our business nationwide and achieve the lofty goals that we've set ourselves?
Most definitely. As you know, we mentioned earlier on, one of the benefits of property is leveraging. And in doing so, we leverage the banks. But that capital that we will get from the equity investments often will go towards aspects such as personnel and marketing. But in terms of the actual property acquisitions, we will benefit most from leveraging the banks on that. So we will definitely make the most of what we have there, and in terms of scalability on that.
Excellent, 100%, Rodney. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Let's say, for example, KOURO raises the 9 million rand it requires. We take the business national, we start flipping houses at scale, the profits start rolling in. How long is it going to take, Shane, to actually for investors to see a return on their money? I mean, what's the forecast in that regard?
Yeah, good question. So typically, one itself, property is a little bit longer than what you'd see maybe in a tech company or anything like that. But at the same time, we discussed it earlier that the stability, plus being a small new company as we are, your growth can be far exceed anything else. So we generally will look at a return period between 3 to 5 years. That gives enough time for capital raise to be implemented and planned in such a way that we start to see great profits returning in 3 to 5 years, which you can see then your capital that you've invested return to astronomical levels.
No, fair enough, Shane. But I mean, is that a reasonable time period? I mean, is that the norm, or is that super long or super short? I mean, if I'm a first-time investor, I've never bought shares before. Is that a good period of time to see a return, or not?
Yeah, so I'd agree with you and say that it's probably in many cases a medium return to your money. However, you need to consider the potential upside on that return. Now, if you had to invest in the stock market, you may be able to quickly put your money in and then withdraw it. However, you weigh yourself into a lot of risk there, as we've discussed. Plus, if you go into a larger property development fund or anything like that, you're going to be expecting only returns after year 5 or year 10 that may be to some significant level. Whereas here we're looking at rapid increased growth, and that's just due to the size of scale. If we essentially take an example, we're doing 10, 20 flips a year. Now you suddenly put that into the 10 or 100 or 200 fold. That essentially will increase your money almost tenfold to some degree. That's sort of the logic where you need to look at. So if you look at any of the tech stocks or property stocks, imagine you brought growth point 20 years ago. You'd be smiling now. But, that's essentially where we're at the moment.
100%, 100%. And, Rodney, I think even if you go out and just buy a property, an actual property, to see a return within 3 to 5 years is not that easy to do. I think that, if you just buy a property and you rent that property out, if you can see a return on your money after 3 to 5 years, you're doing exceptionally well. So I think from that regard, it's not such a long turnaround time. Do you agree, or do you have a different opinion?
Yeah, no, definitely, Matt. I think when you're buying a property, you do need to anticipate that the value of that property will increase over a long period of time. But when you're investing in equity, for example, you're investing in a company that is rapidly growing over a shorter period of time. We may be engaging in, as you mentioned, between 100 plus different property flips in a shorter space of time, being that a year to 2 years, and reaping those rewards of 100 different property transactions, whereas with just simply you being an investor going out and buying a singular property, you're looking to reap those rewards over, let's say, a 10-year period or so.
100%, Rodney. I hear exactly what you're saying. I think again one needs to remember the long-term benefits and aspects of property investment. So 100% agree with that. I see there's a question on our Twitter page. Intabi Singh wants to know, and maybe you can answer this one, Shane. She said that she sees that KOURO is only involved in a residential aspect at this point in time. Will our lack of exposure to commercial type property, commercial type properties, be a negative component of our company and our prospects?
Yeah, so very, very good question. So no, so it's not going to be a negative aspect whatsoever. In many ways, the fact that we're not tied into commercial property at this point has actually worked in our favor due to the recent crises due to COVID-19. So in that fact, it's worked in our favor. However, that's still future growth plans that we already have. And that's the benefit that we have, is that we have that ability to quickly pivot, but we've already planned for the future. We know the direction we need to take. So, don't hold your breath, but, we'll be getting into commercial property, industrial property, etc. in some point in the future. But for now, we're clearly focusing on residential, and that's where we can make the biggest impact and do the quickest turnaround times. And at this point, focusing on strengths as we grow from strength to strength.
100%, Shane. I think it's about having that focus to be the best that you can be in your specific niche and in your space, and once you master that, you can then move on to another course. So we're not ruling it out completely, like you say, but for the time being, in Tabi saying we're going to be focusing on residential, which we feel is our best niche, and that is the sector of property that we want to dominate. So super keen to proceed with that. Just a reminder, guys, this is an interactive live stream, so you can send through your questions like Akeem and Intabi Singh did. We do still have a few minutes left, so if you do have any questions either for myself, Rodney, or Shane, then please do ask them, and don't hesitate to put yourself out there. We'll gladly answer your questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question, as they say, so don't be afraid. All right, cool. So, I mean, if I'm an investor and I say, yes, I want to invest in KOURO, how can I go about that, Rodney? What's the best way to request that?
Yeah, simply put, Matt, we can see investors out there can go out to our website and find out further information on what it is to be an equity investor in KOURO. Then you can simply just send us a mail, and then we'll get back to you with the relevant requirements that we need from you on the investment and how to become an equity investor. So simply email us at info@KOURO, and then we can take it from there.
Awesome stuff. So basically, Rodney, we can invest directly on the website. It's a fully digital process. Is that right?
Yeah, essentially, Matt. We can,
Brilliant stuff. Technology's amazing. We love it. Okay, awesome stuff. Now, I know a lot of you out there are going to be buying equity shares in KOURO Property Group and helping us with our capital raise, which is super exciting. And I know a lot of you also want to invest a bit more in some of our project-specific opportunities. Shane, do you maybe just want to give a brief overview of what a project-specific investment is, just so that our viewers know the difference between being a project investor versus an equity investor?
Yeah, 100%. So I think, we've in many details described what an equity investment is. Project specific, however, is when you clearly focus your investment and your capital into one project that you necessarily believe in or interact well with, or maybe you live close by, or something, and it just hits that button for you that you feel like you want to invest in that particular project. And from that, we can give you a very, very good return on your money. However, it'll be limited and capped, whereas equity investment, the potential growth is much higher than standard 15 to 20% per annum interest rate. However, if you want to play it more safe, or you feel the need to only invest in one particular project per time, project-specific investments such as what we're looking at here, Project Ivy, which is a flip project. Your capital will be implemented into construction costs, transfer costs, all the relevant costs that we need to do to flip this project on, and you'll get your high return at the end of the sale of that property.
100%, Shane. I think you've clarified that really well. I think if I was listening to this for the first time, I definitely know exactly what the difference is now. So thank you for that. Looking at the screen, Rodney, what's Project Ivy? What's all of that? What's that all about?
So, Matt, Project Ivy is one of our upcoming flip projects. So essentially we're going to be going in there, doing a little bit of renovations, not too much of it. As you can tell, it's in relatively good condition currently. So it's a minor flip project, a quick in and out. We're looking at a short time frame for that project. Just a few things to sort out, maintenance, but quick in and out.
Great stuff. Is Norwood a good area?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's not too far away from Bedford View, and it's a good area to be in, convenient towards heading to the city itself as well. So yeah, definitely a good area.
100%. I definitely think Project Ivy is going to be one of our most successful there. So if you're not keen to invest but you want to follow the journey, then just make sure that you stay tuned to all of our social media platforms, and you can watch the progress and the journey there. One thing I like about this photo is there's a camouflage dog in the photo. So if anyone can spot the little dog, then bonus points to you. Guys, if you're keen to jump in and be a part of the project, then you're more than welcome to join us. Do we have any other opportunities, Shane? Are there any other flip projects, or was Ivy the only one?
Yeah, so we have a couple, and one of the ones that's next on the list is the project-specific investment at Northumberland in South Kensington. So this is a massive under-roof place. Looks a little bit dilapidated, but since COVID, people came into some difficulties with their particular business. They had to shut down and close. So we're acquiring this property, and we're going to be essentially doing some minor touch-up on this particular property, and we're going to be selling at the bottom of the market. So giving someone else the opportunity to either make this into a home for themselves with multiple cottages on, or someone who's going to look to do this as a business as well, because it's perfectly located. It's practically around the corner from East Rand Mall, which is close to Bedford View, very high net worth area. So great opportunity here for anyone to get involved in.
Brilliant. Super keen for that one. Going to be one of our top projects, I think. So really excited. I think there's also a couple of opportunities on the surety side of things. Now, some of our viewers might be familiar with Project Robindale. That was one of our multi-lets that we actually tackled last year. And I believe we've already done the phase 1 renovations there and already tenanted half the property. Is that right, Rodney?
Correct. So we've tenanted half the property. Phase 1 renovations are done. Phase 2 renovations are on track, and that should be another 2 more units to add to the property. And essentially, that's what we're looking for in terms of investments right now, for surety investments, so that we can further leverage those bond applications in order to further develop the property as such.
Yeah, brilliant, Rodney. Definitely keen on that. So if you're somebody who knows that you qualify for a bond, or you think you may qualify for a bond, and you want to benefit from the long-term aspects of property that we touched on a little bit earlier in the show, you can actually become a part owner of this property alongside us. If you are willing and able to stand surety on a further loan to be taken out over the property, whereby we can use the cash to complete the renovations, the phase 2 renovations that Rodney mentioned. And you can actually end up owning up to 25% of the property, benefiting from its appreciation in the future, as well as any income or cash flow that's generated from the property on a monthly basis. So if you remember earlier in the show, we spoke about dividends and how owning shares can result in you getting paid a dividend. It's very similar to that, is that you'll own shares in this property and you can actually get rental income on a monthly basis from it. So that's really super exciting. It's well located. It was one of the best renovations we've done to date. So you go out and check out some of the photos on the website. You can even do a 3D tour. So if you are serious about property and you want to be in it for the long term, this may be the project for you. Is this the only suretyship option that we have at the moment, Shane, or are there is there another opportunity possibly in case someone misses out on Robindale?
Yeah, so we've got Project KOURO, which a lot of people, if they were following us, would have seen it in the past. And bonus points for you if you spot the invisible dog as well. So this is another property that's actually gone through phase 1. We're looking to get onto phase 2. Currently, we have a total of 6 flatlets, and 4 of the 6 have been tenanted, and 2 of the others are essentially waiting and ready to be tenanted. We just need to jump through some loopholes there and get that over the line. But super excited for this project. It's stunning. Our tenants have been there for over a year, pushing 2 years now. So really, really stable. As we discussed earlier, properties are very, very stable income for you. And as Matt said, is that you've got the opportunity to be part of it, have an ownership of about 25%, and gain rental income every single month through the process of this property.
Brilliant, Shane. And obviously the dogs really love KOURO because they're in all of our photos. They're obviously proud to be photographed alongside some of our properties and projects. So that obviously speaks really well of us. So bonus, like Shane says, if you can spot the little doggy in the photo. Guys, if you are keen, you can check out the website, or you can contact us directly, and we'll gladly share with you some more information on that financial breakdown, an investment proposal, etc. Awesome stuff. I hope that for a lot of you got a good idea of how equity investment works in the company. We also touched a little bit on project-specific investments as well. So there's a lot going on at KOURO at the moment, and there's plenty of ways for you to get involved. No matter what type of investor you are, you might be a newbie or a seasoned investor, but there's definitely something for you in the company. Right, I think we're going to look at ending off because our time is nearly up. Shane, any final words from you to all of our viewers this evening?
Yeah, thank you for everyone who has tuned in and watched, and all of those who will watch in the future. We really thank you and appreciate your support. And if there's anything that we can do for you, or you want to discuss anything on the live chat, let us know. Perhaps you want to change the format, whatever it is. We'll always welcome some suggestions, and no suggestions bad. It gives us an opportunity to think outside the box, and we welcome it. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you, Shane. Rodney, final words from you, sir?
Yeah, great stuff there, Shane. Just some final feedback on my side. To the guys back at home, we welcome any feedback that you may have. If you don't feel comfortable in posting it on the chat here, then you're welcome to share that with us on Instagram or Facebook. Direct message us and let us know what your thoughts are on things. And how we can help to improve for you guys back home.
Brilliant, Rodney. Thank you for that. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you got a lot of value and insight out of tonight's session. We will be posting it on our social media pages. If you want to go back and rewatch it, you will be able to do so. If any of your friends or family missed out on the live stream, then they can also access it from there and have a watch. We're really excited to chat to you guys again, and hopefully we'll be interacting with a lot of you on some of the investment opportunities shown this evening. From my side, I'd just like to thank you all and wish everybody a wonderful evening. Cheers for now.